There is a quiet thief that enters every life without knocking. It does not break your door down. It does not shout your name. It simply waits while you tell yourself, tomorrow. And then it quietly carries away the hours you believed would always be there. The tragedy is not that time moves too fast. The tragedy is that we often hand it away, piece by piece, to distractions, fear, hesitation, and the comforting lie that there will always be another chance. But every sunrise arrives with a question that cannot be ignored. What will you do with the gift you have been given today? The future is never built in some distant season. It is shaped in the ordinary moments most people overlook. The decision to begin instead of waiting, to create instead of complaining, to move instead of standing still. Every meaningful life is written one choice at a time, and every wasted hour becomes a sentence that can never be rewritten. Do not underestimate the value of this very moment. The person you hope to become is not waiting in another year or another chapter. That person is waiting for the decision you make today. Stop measuring your life by what you intend to do someday. Measure it by what you are willing to do now. So before another minute quietly slips away, ask yourself one honest question. If today were the page that defined your story, would it reveal courage or another excuse? Time is the only possession every human being receives in exactly the same way. Yet it is the one thing that can never be earned back once it is gone. Money can be lost and regained. Opportunities may disappear, but new ones often appear. Skills can be learned at any age through patience and dedication. Even broken relationships sometimes find their way to healing. But a single minute that has passed is beyond recovery forever. No amount of wealth, influence, intelligence, or determination can purchase one extra moment from yesterday. That reality gives time a value greater than anything else we chased. Many people believe they are wasting only a few minutes when they scroll endlessly through their phones, postpone important work, or promise themselves they will begin tomorrow. They think those moments are too small to matter. Yet life is never taken away in giant pieces. It disappears quietly, one ordinary moment at a time. A few wasted minutes become wasted hours. Wasted hours become wasted days. Wasted days slowly become years that leave behind only the painful question of what might have been. The greatest danger is not always laziness. Sometimes it is the comforting illusion that there is plenty of time left. We imagine that the perfect moment is waiting just around the corner, when we will finally have enough confidence, enough energy, enough knowledge, or enough certainty to begin. But perfection rarely arrives. While we wait for ideal conditions, time continues moving without hesitation. It does not pause because we are afraid. It does not slow because we are uncertain. It simply continues forward, asking nothing and explaining nothing. Every sunrise quietly places 24 fresh hours into our hands. It asks no questions about yesterday's failures or today's fears. It simply offers another chance to choose wisely. Whether those hours become the foundation of a meaningful life or vanish into distraction depends on the decisions we make, often in moments so ordinary that they seem insignificant. Reading one page, practicing one skill, making one difficult phone call, or taking one small step toward a dream may appear too simple to change a life. Yet remarkable lives are rarely transformed by a single dramatic event. They are shaped by countless small choices repeated with purpose. When we begin to understand the true worth of time, our priorities start to change. We become more careful about where we invest our attention, who we allow to influence our minds, and what habits quietly shape our future. We realize that every hour spent building character, learning something new, helping another person, or pursuing a meaningful goal becomes an investment that continues to grow long after the clock has moved forward. Every hour spent without intention is an opportunity that silently fades beyond our reach, leaving behind only the memory of what could have been. Excuses rarely announce themselves as obstacles. They arrive wearing the comforting disguise of logic, patience, or self-protection. They whisper that today is not the right day, that you are not ready, that someone else has more talent, more experience, or more resources than you do. At first, these thoughts seem harmless. They feel reasonable, even responsible. But beneath every excuse is a quiet decision to delay action, and every delay silently steals a piece of the future you hope to build. The most dangerous excuses are not the dramatic ones. They are the ordinary phrases we repeat without questioning them. I'll start next week. I'm too busy. I'll do it when I feel motivated. I need everything to be perfect first. These words may offer temporary comfort, but they slowly become habits that shape an entire life. Every time an excuse replaces action, confidence grows weaker while regret grows stronger. The future is not stolen all at once. It disappears through countless moments when we choose comfort over commitment. Fear often hides behind excuses because fear is easier to disguise than to confront. We fear failure, rejection, criticism, and disappointment. Rather than admitting those fears, we create explanations that make delay seem acceptable. We tell ourselves that the timing is wrong or that success belongs to people who were born with special advantages. In doing so, we protect ourselves from immediate discomfort, but we also distance ourselves from the life we truly desire. Every dream left untouched because of fear becomes another reminder of unrealized potential. There will always be reasons to wait. Responsibilities will demand attention. Unexpected challenges will arise. Life will never arrange itself into perfect conditions before inviting you to begin. Those who accomplish meaningful things are not people who found an easier path. They are people who decided that their purpose mattered more than their excuses. They understood that progress does not require certainty. It requires movement. Even a small step taken today carries more power than a perfect plan postponed until tomorrow. Every excuse also carries an unseen cost. It is measured not only in lost time, but in lost confidence. The more often you postpone action, the more your mind begins to believe that you are someone who never follows through. Eventually, hesitation becomes part of your identity. Breaking that cycle demands a different choice. It begins with recognizing that action creates motivation far more often than motivation creates action. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself, especially when doing so feels uncomfortable. Imagine where your life could be if every excuse you made over the past year had been replaced with one small act of courage. One page read each day could become several books completed. 1 hour of practice could become a valuable skill. One conversation avoided could become a meaningful opportunity. The future is shaped less by extraordinary moments than by the ordinary decisions repeated consistently. Every time you refuse an excuse and choose action instead, you reclaim a piece of the future that hesitation was prepared to take away. Most people imagine that regret is created by one enormous mistake, one life-changing decision that suddenly alters everything. In reality, regret is usually much quieter than that. It grows through small moments that seem too ordinary to matter. It begins with choosing to postpone an important task for just one day, telling yourself that tomorrow will be a better time. Then tomorrow becomes next week, next month, and eventually another year has disappeared. Looking back, it is rarely the single dramatic failure that causes the deepest pain. It is the collection of tiny delays that slowly shaped an entire life without being noticed. Every day offers hundreds of small decisions. Wake up when the alarm rings or press the snooze button one more time. Read a few pages of a book or spend another hour scrolling through endless distractions. Practice a skill for 30 minutes or convince yourself that one missed session will not matter. None of these choices seem powerful on their own. They appear too small to influence the future. Yet life is not built by one extraordinary decision. It is built by thousands of ordinary ones repeated over time. Think about how nature works. A river does not carve a mountain in a single day. A tree does not grow to great heights overnight. The seasons change so gradually that we hardly notice them until the landscape looks completely different. Human lives follow the same pattern: character, success, knowledge. Confidence and wisdom are not created in one grand moment. They grow through consistent actions that often seem insignificant while they are happening. In the same way, disappointment and regret also develop gradually. They are the result of neglected moments that quietly accumulate over the years. One wasted evening may not seem important. One missed opportunity may feel harmless. One unfinished project may appear easy to return to later. But when those moments are repeated again and again, they become habits. Habits become routines, and routines eventually become the story of a person's life. Years later, many people do not wonder why they failed to achieve their dreams. They wonder why they allowed so many ordinary moments to slip away without purpose. The pain comes from realizing that the future they wanted was always being shaped by the choices they believed were too small to matter. The opposite is also true. Small acts of discipline create extraordinary results when practiced consistently. Saving a little money every week can build financial security. Learning one new idea each day can transform the way you think. Writing a single page every evening can become a completed book. Exercising for a short time each morning can lead to lasting health. Great achievements often begin with actions so simple that they appear almost meaningless. Their power comes not from their size, but from their consistency. When you understand that every small moment carries the weight of tomorrow, you begin to treat your time differently. You stop waiting for dramatic opportunities to change your life because you realize that change is already happening with every decision you make. Every minute is quietly adding another line to the story you will one day remember. And every choice, no matter how small it seems today, is helping create either a future filled with pride or a future shadowed by years of regret. Every person carries within them abilities they have not yet discovered, strengths they have not yet tested, and possibilities they have not yet explored. Potential is not something reserved for a fortunate few. It exists in every individual, waiting quietly beneath fear, doubt, hesitation, and uncertainty. The difference between those who transform their lives and those who remain where they are is rarely talent alone. More often, it is the willingness to make a decision. Potential does not demand perfection before revealing itself. It waits for courage. It waits for commitment. Above all, it waits for the moment you choose to act. Many people spend years asking for permission to become the person they dream of being. They wait for someone to believe in them before believing in themselves. They wait for approval from family, friends, teachers, or society before taking the first step. They imagine that confidence must come before action. But confidence is not the beginning of the journey. Confidence is the result of taking steps despite uncertainty. Waiting for permission often becomes another way of avoiding responsibility. The truth is that no one else can authorize your future. That decision belongs entirely to you. There is a quiet voice inside every person that speaks of greater possibilities. It appears when you imagine a different life, when you think about a dream that refuses to disappear, or when you wonder what could happen if you finally gave your best effort. Too often, that voice is drowned out by louder voices that speak of limitations. They remind you of past failures, compare your progress with others, or convince you that you are too late to begin. Yet those voices do not define your future. They only describe the fears of the present moment. Your potential has never been determined by the opinions that surround you. It has always been connected to the choices you are willing to make. History is filled with people who began with very little. They lacked resources, experience, recognition, or support. What separated them from countless others was not that they received permission to succeed. They simply decided that waiting was no longer an option. They accepted that mistakes would happen, that setbacks would come, and that failure might visit them along the way. Still, they moved forward. Every meaningful accomplishment began with a decision that was invisible to the world, but powerful enough to change an entire life. The greatest opportunities often appear after the first courageous step, not before it. You do not discover your full strength by thinking about difficult challenges. You discover it by facing them. You do not uncover hidden talents by imagining success. You uncover them by practicing, learning, failing, improving, and refusing to quit. Action has a way of revealing abilities that fear keeps hidden. Every step forward teaches something that standing still never can. Your future is not waiting for someone else to approve your dreams or guarantee your success. It is waiting for the moment you decide that your purpose matters more than your doubts. The life you hope to create will never begin because the world finally gave you permission. It will begin because one day you looked beyond your fears, trusted the possibility within you, and chose to move forward with determination and purpose. Many people believe that the life they dream about will begin someday, in the future. They imagine that happiness, success, peace, or fulfillment will arrive when they have more money, more experience, better opportunities, or fewer responsibilities. They place their hopes on a distant tomorrow, believing that life will finally change when everything falls perfectly into place. But the future has a remarkable way of being shaped by what we choose today. Every dream that becomes reality begins with a single decision made in the present moment. The life you imagine is not waiting for another calendar year or another season. It begins the instant you stop wasting the day that has already been placed in your hands. Today may seem ordinary. It may look no different from yesterday or the day before. Yet hidden inside every ordinary day are countless opportunities to move one step closer to the person you want to become. A single page read today increases your knowledge. A short workout strengthens your body. One difficult conversation repairs a relationship. 1 hour spent learning a new skill expands your future possibilities. These actions may appear too small to transform a life, but they are the quiet foundations upon which extraordinary lives are built. Great achievements are rarely created by one spectacular moment. They are the result of ordinary days used with extraordinary purpose. The greatest obstacle is often not a lack of ability, but the habit of postponing meaningful action. We convince ourselves that tomorrow will be a better time to begin. We wait for more confidence, more motivation, or the perfect set of circumstances. Yet tomorrow has a way of becoming another tomorrow, and another after that. While we continue waiting, time continues moving. The dreams that once filled us with excitement slowly become distant memories, not because they were impossible, but because they were endlessly delayed. Every sunrise offers something priceless, another opportunity to begin again. It does not judge yesterday's failures or celebrate yesterday's successes. It simply presents a fresh chance to make wiser decisions. The beauty of life is that transformation does not require a perfect past. It requires a willing heart and a determined mind in the present. No matter how much time has already been wasted, today still holds the power to change the direction of tomorrow. The decision you make now can interrupt years of hesitation and replace them with progress. Imagine looking back years from now and realizing that the turning point in your life was not a grand event witnessed by the world. It was a quiet morning when you decided to stop making excuses, stop waiting for ideal conditions, and finally take responsibility for your future. The world may never notice that moment, but your future self will. Every meaningful chapter begins with a choice that seems almost invisible at first. It is repeated day after day until those small acts become habits. Those habits become character, and that character shapes a life filled with purpose. The dream you carry within you is not asking for impossible perfection or endless planning. It is asking for your attention, your discipline, your courage, and your willingness to begin before you feel completely ready. Every moment spent taking action gives your future a stronger foundation, while every moment wasted quietly weakens the possibilities that could have been. The life you have imagined for so long is not waiting somewhere beyond the horizon. It begins the moment you decide that today is too valuable to waste, and that every choice you make from this point forward will become the story you leave behind for the years to come.